Veronica and welcome to Jersey City Pilates. For today's class, you're going to want a chair, a stool, your couch, anything that you have access to that is sturdy, that you can put your hands on, you can put your feet on and lean against, and it's not just going to roll away from you, so don't use a desk chair. And we'll get started. If you have a stool or you're near a couch or you have like a chair that you can use but nothing on wheels, you can go ahead and grab that. We're gonna use that a bit during class, and anything that you can just sit on that won't run away from you basically. And we'll get started. So take whatever your chair is, and if you want to do this on the ground, that's obviously totally fine as well. You're just gonna start sitting right at the edge of your chair. And just bring your hands onto your legs and just sit up nice and tall. And then just let your head fall over to the right, let your ear reach down towards your shoulder, and then bring it up to the center and let it fall over towards your left shoulder. And then back up, and one more time to each side, just let it fall over to the right. Take a nice big inhale and then exhale as you stack your spine all the way upright, and then inhale, let it fall over to the right, left rather. And then exhale as you stack your spine all the way back up tall. And then from here, you can either have your hands on your legs or forearms on your legs, whichever is more comfortable. But think about pressing into your legs and pulling your chest forward, lengthening through the front of your body, lifting through the collarbones, and then press away, like almost like you're lengthening through the calves, thighs, round your back, drop your head. Really think about rounding all the way through your back, not just your upper back, and then pull yourself forward into that little extension. And then again, round your spine. And then pull through. And one more time, around all the way back. And then stack your spine up nice and tall, and you're just gonna bring your hands behind your head. And think about lengthening from the base of your skull. Nod your chin ever so slightly, lengthen through the crown of your head. Draw your ribs in towards one another. On an exhale, feel your abdominals engage, ribs are drawing up towards your hips, and then just start to rotate over to the right. And then come back to center and think about growing taller as you come back to center, and then twist over to the left. And then back to the center. 2 more times to each side, pressing gently into the floor with your feet. And think that from the crown of your head through your sitting bones, there's like a rod planting you into the floor, and you're just rotating around your spine, around that pole. Press your head into your hands. Once more to each side. And then back to the center. And last time to the left. And then pause here in the center and think about lengthening from the back of your neck one more time. And then you're gonna extend your right arm up overhead. And you're gonna side bend up and over to the left, keeping your left hand behind your head. And then stack your spine all the way up tall, bring your hand in line with your chest, and twist and rotate and reach towards that outside edge of your left leg. And just think about twisting open towards that left side. You may be able to touch your foot or your leg or the floor, that's cool, I cannot. And then stack your spine all the way up nice and tall. Lift your left arm up overhead, right hand behind your head still, and then side bend up and over to the right. Take a nice big reach. And then stack your spine up tall, bring your left hand in front of your torso, twist over to the right, and then hinge, lengthening through your low back, reaching forward. And then stack your spine all the way back up. One more time on each side. So right hand lifts overhead, side bend up and over to the left. Breathing into your ribs on the right side. Stack your spine up nice and tall. Lower your arm in line with your chest. Twist and rotate. And then hinge and reach. towards that left edge of your mat, and then stack yourself all the way back up, over to the right. Left arm lifts, reach and lengthen through the back of the neck on your only neck, you don't have two of them. Breathing into the ribs on the left side, stack your spine all the way up as you lower your arm, twist and rotate, and then hinge forward again, reaching out of that low back. And then stack your spine all the way up nice and tall. And then just bring your hands down off of your head. And then you're gonna go ahead and come to lay on your back. Have your chair either at the end of your mat or on your mat, whatever works for you. And you're just gonna bring your legs onto your chair and have the chair be about at your knees so that your upper leg is totally relaxed here, or lower leg rather. You're being supported by the chair, and then bring your hands onto your ribs, or you can bring one to your rib and one to your stomach, whichever you prefer. And take a nice big inhale here. Feel your ribs expand laterally to the side, and then exhale from the base of your pelvis up to your ribs. Feel your abdominals draw in on the exhale and your ribs close. Back ribs press into the mat, and then release. And then again, take a nice big inhale. And then exhale. Feel your abdominals draw in and up. Ribs draw towards one another. Two more like this. And exhale. Feeling that engagement through the front of your abdominals. And then release. And this time you're gonna take a nice big inhale. And exhale. Feel your abdominals draw in, your ribs draw towards one another, your pelvic floor is lifted and engaged. And then you're just gonna keep part of that tension, if you will, and you're just gonna breathe normally. And then from here, bring your hands behind your head and curl your head, neck, and shoulders up on the exhale. And then release back down. Keeping that engagement through the lower abdominals. And notice if you want to pull with your legs or press down into the chair. You want to keep your lower body totally relaxed. 5 more like this. And I'm just going to breathe here. 3. 2 more, lifting your head, sliding your ribs down to your hips. Last one, and lower yourself all the way back down. From here, keeping your hips nice and square, that engagement through the front of your body. Externally rotate through the upper arms here, nice and wide through the collarbones, and then you're just gonna pick and lift your right leg up, and then lower it back down. And then reach and pick that left leg up, and lower it down. Keeping that engagement through the lower abdominals, and really feel like your abdominals here are doing the work. If you would like to add on, you can bring your hands behind your head and curl your head, neck, and shoulder blades off the floor, making sure that your abdominals are descending towards the ground as you bring that leg in, alternating one and then the other. So this may not feel particularly hard. Maybe it does. To me, it kind of does today. And that's totally fine. But if it doesn't, really think about rolling the head of your femur away as you lift the leg. So you're just using that little crease of the hip flexor, the engagement of your abdominals to lift your leg. We're gonna do 2 more to each side. This is one of those, looks easy, but try to use your brain to make it hard moves. Last one. Good. And then from here, you can move your chair away from you a little bit so you can place your feet on top, but just make sure that whatever you're using isn't going to run away from you. You're going to curl your tailbone under and then peel yourself up 1 vertebrae at a time into your bridge here, however high is comfortable for you. Then you're going to peel yourself back down 1 vertebrae at a time, release to neutral. And again, press the feet into the chair, curl yourself up, and then peel yourself all the way back down. 2 more just like that. Changing the elevation of your feet can kind of change where in your legs you feel this. Shoulder blades still remain on the mat. Last one like this. Think about opening up through the front of your hips if you can, and then release all the way back down. If you'd like, you can extend your legs long and do this with your legs long as well. So this time you're gonna peel yourself up and you're gonna pause at the top. Again, your feet can be planted. I'm just gonna switch to my legs. This is a little bit more comfortable. And I'm gonna bring my right knee into my chest. And I'm gonna extend it long, keeping my hips hovering in my bridge. Left leg comes in and extend. Just like we were doing a second ago. And to the left. And back down. If you'd like to make this a little bit more challenging, float your arms up, bring your right leg in. And extend. Left leg in. And extend. 2 more to each side, just like this. Breathing as you go, keeping that tension through the abdominals. Last one. Lower your legs down, peel your hips all the way down, 1 vertebrae at a time. If you want to leave your arms up, go ahead. If you want to bring them back to the floor, all good. You're going to pick your hips up this time, not curl them under. So you're in a nice neutral pelvis. And then you're going to rotate through the hips, over to the right, and then square your hips towards the ceiling, and rotate over to the left. Toes stay more or less pointing up to the ceiling. Just rotating through the center of your body. 2 more to each side, over to the right, and square, hip dip to the left. Last one. And to the left. Pause here. And then you're gonna lower your hips an inch, and then press them up. And dip down an inch, and up. For 6. 5. 4 more. 3. If you'd like, you can add a little tuck under at the top. 2. We'll do 4 more. Now 2 more. Last one, pause at the top, curl your tailbone under, peel yourself down 1 vertebrae at a time, and then bring your knees into your chest and give yourself a little rock back and forth from one side to the other, whatever feels good. And then regardless of what you were just doing, you're going to externally rotate. So you're going to bring your feet together and your knees are going to be externally rotated. Just make sure that you have enough space between you and whatever prop you're using. Again, you can do this with your feet on the floor if you prefer. But you're just going to lift the hips straight up and then lower them straight down. Lift back up and back down. You can go a full range of motion here, so up to whatever your height is, and then tap them down on the floor, and then lift back up. Think about reaching forward over your toes with your knees. For 3. 2. And last one, pause at the top. You're gonna take your right leg off, keep it externally rotated, and you're gonna reach it under the left. And then bring your knee toward your chest. And then heel toward your butt. And then knee towards your shoulder, maybe that's a better way. So you're doing this little half moonish, half circle movement on just the right leg, pressing down through that left leg. 2 more. Last one. Bring the right leg back, square your hips off, lift the left leg, lower it underneath the right, and then you're gonna slide your left heel toward your right glute, and then knee toward your hip, and then slide it over, and for 6, and 5, hips are hovering off the floor, 4, 2, and last one. Bring your feet back together, square your hips, and then tiny pulses for 10, 9, you're gonna need a break after this, 7, 6, 5, 4. Breathing here, abs are engaged. 2. Last one, and peel yourself all the way back down, one vertebrae at a time. Bring your knees into your chest and gently rock back and forth from one side to the other. And then just give your legs a little shake here. Put one foot, just rest it onto the chair, and then cross your other ankle over. You can pull that knee then into your chest and kind of press in with that left leg as you externally rotate and press the right knee away. Take a few breaths here, keeping your shoulder and the rest of your body relaxed. And then change legs. So right leg extends, left knee crosses over, left ankle rather over the right leg, and then pull your right leg in slightly towards you. Externally rotate, gently press that left leg away. As you're pressing away, just make sure you're not only pressing on the knee, use some of the meaty part of your foot as well. Tailbone is reaching into the floor. Good, and then uncross your legs, and then roll over. You're gonna move your chair out of the way. And you're gonna come into all fours. So just to start, you're gonna have your shoulders right underneath right above your hands, and then you're gonna tuck your toes under. And then you're just gonna sit your hips back towards your feet, towards your heels, and stretch through your feet. If it feels good, you can come up a little higher, you can come all the way up tall. If that feels good, just make sure that your heels aren't falling out to the side or in. You want to try to think that your heels are reaching straight up towards the ceiling so that you're keeping your feet in a nice neutral position here. Getting a good stretch through your feet. And then you can release it a little. And then press back at that stretch again. Stretching through the underside of your toes. Again, wash those heels. Take 2 more breaths. And last one. And then just gently untuck the toes, press the tops of the feet down into the floor, round your spine up towards the ceiling, and then coming through extension, lengthening through the front of your chest, and then round your spine up towards the ceiling. And then again, looking for that extension, opening through the front of the collarbone, lengthening through the front of your body, and then tuck the tailbone under, round the back. Feel your ribs drawing towards your hips. And then last time, find that extension, round your spine up towards the ceiling, and then find a nice neutral position here. From here, think about, first, you're gonna take your knee on your left side and just plant your knee on the floor, but let your foot lift off. So your foot is just able to swivel back and forth. And you're gonna swivel your foot over to the right as you look over your right shoulder, trying to find the toes of that right side, lengthening through that left side. And then come through a nice long neutral spine, and then twist, or side bend rather, over to the left, looking for that foot now on the left. So as your foot comes to the right, you side bend to the right. Think about finding that length through the left side. Find a nice neutral, and then rotate to the other side. And then square yourself off, and then over to the right. Maybe you can see your toes on both sides. Maybe you can't. And you want to think about staying in this neutral position with your spine so that you are side bending laterally, not rounding or extending your back. And then bring that knee in underneath you, and we're going to switch sides. So right knee comes up, and start by rotating that leg over to the left, external rotation through the thigh, internal rotation as you look over the right shoulder. And then again, swiveling to the other side, just going at your own pace here. This should feel pretty nice, if not very nice. 3 more. 2. Last one. Good. And then come all the way back down. Find your nice extension, neutral spine. Extend your left leg back behind you and your right arm in front of you. Take a nice big inhale. Exhale, feel your abdominals draw away from the floor as you float your arm and leg up off the ground. And then tap it down and lift. Reaching your toes and fingertips away from one another. The crown of your head is reaching towards the wall in front of you. 4 more. Hips are nice and square. 3, 2. Think more about length than height. Last one. And then round and bring your knee towards your elbow underneath you, and then extend long. And then again, round underneath and extend. 6 more. Don't worry about your knee and elbow touching. If it touches, great. If it doesn't, that's fine. I'm not even looking for mine too. Last one. Pause with your arm and leg extended. Float your right arm down. Find your balance with your left leg extended. And then you're gonna float the left arm up, trying to find your balance here. Holding that left side fully off the mat. Take 2 more breaths. Last one. And then lower the arm, lower the leg. Shake your wrists out if you need. And then we're gonna switch sides. So again, hands underneath you, knees underneath you. Extending your now right leg, left arm. Float them away from each other. Tap them down and lift. Again, think more about length than height. Opening up to the front of that right hip. 4 more. 3, using your whole right hand. 2. Last one. And then bend and bring it in underneath you, rounding your spine for 8. And lengthen. And lengthen. 4 more. 3, 2, and last one. Leave your right leg long now. Left arm comes down. Take a nice big inhale. Find yourself nice and steady. And then extend your right arm long. Trying to keep your hips and shoulders square to the ground. Your weight as even as possible. 2 more breaths. Last one. And then lower your arm and leg all the way down. Bring your knees in a little bit closer if that feels comfortable. And then you're gonna take your thumbs and you're gonna bring them to the inside of your palm and then wrap your fingers around them. And then take the backs of your hands and press them into the floor and then press away. And I look like an absolute gargoyle. You very well may look like a gargoyle hand, have gargoyle hands too. But just take a few breaths here. You can sit back on your heels to take less weight. The more weight you have over your hands, the more intense this will be. Just getting that stretch through the backs of your wrists, the back of your hands. Make sure you're not hyperextending through the elbows. And 1 more breath. It's called the too much time on the computer. Okay, and then gently undo your hands and you're gonna come to sit on the mat. And you're gonna bring your hands back behind you and your hips on the floor. So your feet are pressing into the ground And from here, let yourself sink down. Like you're hanging out on a beach, your arms behind you. Maybe you feel your elbows start to lock, your palms pick up off the floor. From here, start at your hands. Press the knuckles and palm of your hand into the floor. Feel your elbows soften, and then start to feel that space in the front of your chest as you lift and give your neck room. Your feet are pressing into the floor, and then from here, you're just gonna reach your knees forward and pick yourself up into a reverse tabletop. Again, keeping a little softness through the elbows, and you're just gonna lower the hips back down, tap them gently to the floor, and then reach forward through the knees, opening up through the front of the body. Press away from the floor. Keep pressing those, I don't know what to call it, not the knuckles in the middle of your finger, but the ones closest to your palm, pressing into the ground as you lower your hips down. Feet keep pressing down, heels are drawing toward your hands, so you're engaging through the hamstrings. 3 more. Neck is nice and long, 2. You can look back behind you if that feels comfortable, or you can keep your gaze straight ahead. 2. Last one. And lower yourself all the way back down. Bring your arms slightly farther back behind you, keeping this nice proud lift of your chest. From here, you're just gonna bend your elbows back behind you and then press through the hands, lengthen your arms. And then bend the elbows back behind you, press and lengthen. If you would like to lift your hips up and make this a weighted tricep press, go for it. We're gonna do 8 more. I'm leaving my hips down. 7. Either way, as you press up, feel the abdominal connection. Use your breath for 5, 4, 3. They should still be helping you even if your hips are on the ground. 2. Last one. Pause here. You're gonna keep this hinge of your upper body. You're gonna lengthen your right leg and then your left leg. Take a nice big inhale and then exhale. Find that wrap of your abdominals. Bring your right hand around, keep your hinge, and then bring your left hand around, and then you're gonna stack your spine up nice and tall. And then from here, you're just gonna round your spine, curl your tailbone under, roll back, and stack your spine up nice and tall. And then again, roll back. Think about really reaching through the low back, placing your sacrum on the floor, ribs to hips. 2. And last one. And then pause halfway back, and then open up to the right, and then to the center, and to the left, and center. 4 more to each side. 3, 2, now 2. I can't count. Keep drawing those abdominals in. Last one. And last. And then pause here, roll down another ½ inch, and then come down an inch, and up an inch, and down, and up for 8, 7. This could even just be the engagement of your abdominals. 7, 5, 3, 2, last one, and then stack your spine all the way up nice and tall. If you'd like, bend your knees and then round forward over your legs. Make room for yourself if you need, externally rotate the legs, and then stack your spine up nice and tall. Go ahead and grab your, actually, go ahead and come to lay on your stomach. Come to lay all the way down on your stomach, and I'm gonna do this standing. Have your hips nice and square on the floor, tuck the tailbone under ever so slightly, And then go ahead and bring your hands one stacked on top of the other. Shoulders are nice and relaxed. And you're pressing your forehead into your back of your palms, lengthening through the crown of your head. Ribs are drawing toward your hips, and then from here, take a nice big inhale. And on your exhale, think about sliding your shoulder blades gently down your back as you lift your head and arms up into a little extension. Keep tucking the tailbone under, legs are heavy. And then lower all the way back down. And then again, lift up on your exhale. Find that extension. And then lengthen all the way back down. And as you're lowering down, think about lowering your nose a little bit farther away from your feet each time. So you're finding length through the front and back of your body. 2 more times like this. Lift the head, neck, and shoulders up. Checking on the abdominals. Are they pressing into the ground? Are they drawing away? And then lengthen and lower down. Last one. This time you're going to come up and you're going to pause. And then you're going to extend your right arm long. Extend your left arm long. And then lower everything all the way down. And then from here, you're going to let your arms be heavy on the floor. Lift your head, neck, and shoulders. So you're finding that slight little extension. And then you're going to lift your right arm and your left leg. And then lower everything to the floor. And then alternate. And lower it to the floor. And then alternate. 2 more to each side. Right foot, left arm. Right arm. 2. Last one. And then lower everything down. Keep your arms nice and long overhead. And then from here, lift your arms, lift your head, lift your chest, lift your legs. If everything is hovering, if this is too much, bring your arms by your side. And then you're gonna start to flutter kick everything, arms and legs swimming either by your hips, palms facing towards the ceiling, or arms overhead for 10. Breathing as you go, 9, 8, abs drawing away from the floor, 3, 2, last one, hold everything up, reach everything in opposition away from each other, and then lower everything down all the way onto the ground. And then round back into a lovely child's pose here. Have your knees be nice and wide. And just give your hips a little shake from one side to the other to release. And then come all the way up. Go ahead and grab your stool or go over to your couch. And you're going to come onto it. You can start with your butt on, and then you're going to bring your back onto it, and then slide yourself off just to where you feel comfortable. You can have your hands behind your head if you'd like. Your hips are going to be lifted in that supported, reverse tabletop position. And then you're going to let your hips drop, lengthen and stretch through the back, and then press all the way up. Good. Once you find a nice comfortable position here, you can bring your arms up or keep them behind your head or holding on, whatever is the most comfortable for you. And you're going to float your right leg up into tabletop. Feel what's happening through the legs and your balance as you switch sides. Alternating from one side to the other. If this is too much, you can return to a normal bridge on the floor, or you can do this in a reverse tabletop position like we just were, lifting your right leg and then your left. Those are your options. Or you can decide that I don't feel like doing this and then just not do it. Also fine. Good, keeping your weight nice and square through the hips as you lift and lower. Clearly this is the class of hip creases. Last one to each side. Good. And then if you'd like, let your hips dip back down towards the ground, giving yourself a little stretch. And then as gracefully as possible, which for me is not at all, you're gonna come off of there. And you're gonna turn around and bring your hands onto whatever surface you're using. today. And then walk your feet back so that they're just about underneath your hips. And then bend your knees and stick your butt out so you're really reaching through your back. And then you're just gonna bend your knees and straighten them, but think about lifting through the sitting bones. And you're just using your prop for support here. Getting a nice stretch to the back of those legs, but also through your low back as well by keeping it nice and flat. So not going past that point of straight legs where you start to round your back. 2 more like this. Last one. Good. And then shift your weight forward over your hands. Find a nice comfortable position for your hands. And then you're gonna walk your feet back behind you. Find your plank. Hands are elevated. If you would rather do this on the floor, switch to the floor, no problem. You're gonna bring your right knee into your chest and extend it long. And bring your right knee in and extend. Abs are drawing away from the floor. Ribs towards your hips. You're lengthening through the front of your body. You're in a nice long line, or as close to it as you can be. 2. Make sure you're not gonna press that chair away from you. Last one. And then lower that leg down. And then shift your weight back over your heels. Give yourself a little hamstring stretch. 2. And then shift your weight. My fingers are getting stuck in fur. Shift your weight back over your arms. And then the left leg's gonna come in and extend. And breathe in and extend. Collarbone is wide. Gaze is slightly ahead of you. For 6. 5. 4 more. 3, tailbone tucked. Last one. Lower the leg down and then lift your hips up and then find your plank. So find what position with your feet works so that you can come into a nice pike and roll yourself forward into your plank. And then lift a pike, find your plank. And lift. And lower. 4 more. 3. 2. Last one. Come forward. And then from here, you're gonna bend your elbows back by your side and push up for 8. 7. Exhale on the up. Take your abdominals with you. 3. 2. And last one. Lift your hips up. Walk your hands back. Give yourself a little stretch or wiggle, whatever feels nice through your back. And then from here, we have some side planking. You have 2 options. The first one, 3 actually, is that you can do your side plank where you're elevated up onto your chair. You can do a totally normal side plank where you're on your forearm on the floor. Or if you're feeling crazy, you're gonna have your forearm or hand on the ground and you're going to have your feet on your stool. Your choice. I'll walk you through. You'll be able to do all of the options regardless of where you're at. I'm gonna go with my upper body elevated. It's a little easier. And either way, still a side plank, it's still hard. Find your side plank. You're gonna take your left hand and you're gonna reach it under and rotate and then square yourself off to the top. And then reach under and rotate and square yourself off. 4 more. You can also do this with your knees on the ground. You can do forearms and knee. 2. Last one. Pause here. And then you're gonna lower your hips down and lift. And lower your hips and lift. For 5. 4. 3. 2. Last one. Pause at the top. And then from here, reach your top arm overhead and bring it back up. Body stays still. Top arm reaches and lift. Reach and lift. 3 more. 2. Last one. And then lower everything all the way down onto the ground, regardless of where you're at. You're gonna bring your left knee back behind you, your right foot forward, so you're in a Z sit. Excuse me. Hiccups are nonstop. Left hand on your left shin, reach your right arm straight up, and then side bend up and over to the left. Stack your spine up nice and tall. And then side bend again, up and over. Good, and then you're gonna switch sides. So again, you got lots of options. Pick whichever one you'd like to go with. And you're gonna start with those trunk rotations. So your hips are gonna go with you as you reach your right arm under your left side, and then open up, and then twist and rotate, and reach. Shoulder is out of your ear. 5 more. 3, 2. Last one. And then from here, you're gonna do those hip dips for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3 more. 2. Last one. Arm reaches overhead and up. And up. For 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. And then come all the way up, sitting down onto the ground. Your right shin is gonna come parallel the short end, left leg, left shin perpendicular, right hand on your right shin. Reach your right arm straight up towards the ceiling, and side bend up and over to the right. And then stack your spine all the way up nice and tall. Relax your shoulder. And then again, side bend up and over to the right side. Really breathing into the ribs on that left side. And stack your spine all the way up nice and tall. Come to sit on your chair again. We're gonna end sort of like we started. Hopefully just with some more mobility now. So first thing we're gonna do, sitting towards the edge of your chair, take your right ankle and cross it over your left knee. And then think about just stacking your spine up nice and tall. You can gently rock that left leg, right leg from one side to the other. Really think about that external rotation, sitting up nice and tall. And then take a nice big inhale, and then exhale. Hinge forward, so reach forward from the chest, lengthen through the tailbone, and see if you can get a little hinge forward to intensify that stretch a bit. Keeping your chest lifted. You may not need to go very far. You may need to think hinging forward, and that's enough. And then come all the way up and switch sides. So left ankle up over your right side, your right leg sitting up nice and tall. Gently rock back and forth from one side to the other here. Taking a few big breaths. My heart rate is not quite high. Bring it down a little, and then pause here. Press down through the right leg, lengthen through the spine. Nod the chin ever so slightly, and then hinge forward, lengthening out of that low back. One more breath here. Finding that length and that stretch through your left outer hip and glute. And then uncross the legs. Bring your hands onto your knees and thighs again. And then reach your chest forward, lengthen as you lift, coming into a slight extension, more in the upper back than anywhere else. You can let your gaze come up, whatever feels good. And then round your spine. Take your abdominals with you. And then come into that little extension and round. Once more like this. And then stack your spine all the way up nice and tall. Hands behind your head. Take a nice little twist over to the right. Think about growing tall. And then from here, side bend up and over to the left. So lift your right elbow. You're staying twisted over to the right, but just getting a nice stretch through those back ribs in your spine. And then stack your spine all the way back up and square yourself to the right. So twist and rotate up nice and tall to the left. And then reach your right knee down and right elbow down and away as you lift your left elbow. Head presses back, so you're in a nice long line with your spine, still your neck still. Stack your spine back up, one more time to the right. Twist and rotate. And then side bend over to the left side. Longest twisted position. Take a nice big breath. And come all the way up. Over to the left. And then lift up. Stack your spine up nice and tall. Round forward over your legs. Let your arms be heavy, let your head be heavy. And slowly stack your spine up one vertebrae at a time. Find yourself in a nice tall seated position. And you are all finished. Thanks. See you all next week. No, my last, I'll have it in